with the fingers in the lock is difficult. Like it's difficult for a person to maneuver, to spin. Okay, but the safest way would be to put him on the ground, put some weight on him so he can't maneuver at all. That just alleviate all of it.
So if you had your fingers in a lock, say like you have an interlock behind your hand, if you were to grab your fingers and hold your fingers, if it's going to go to cuffing at some point, it's got to unlock.
Right, then it's an opportunity.
But while the fingers are interlocked and it has a good grip on your fingers, it's more difficult to move and try anything that way.
Have him interlock his fingers?
Yeah, okay, do it that way. Grab the fingers there, put one hand across and hold the fingers out. Say you just go into search.
That's the best thing you can do.
That's the best way to do it right there.
Officer puts handcuffs on you. Is that officer safe at that point?
Not all the time, because we train to kick, groin area, legs, learn what angles to kick, because the easiest way to break a joint is to go this way, cross it. So like if I'm cuffed up and let's say the sergeant, I just tell extracting the sergeant right there, I might kick downward in that angle and break his leg, just like that.
Could you demonstrate what you would do if an officer was to strike you with a baton, if you were in a combative position?
If he was to strike me, I'm coming this way.
That's right.
What I would do, I would go in close, because the full blunt of the blow, the power is at the end of the extension. So I would block it close, go for leverage, hit it down, spin it down.
So those are the kind of things that you're practicing day in and day out in your cell, and you're training anything else that you worked on, practice?
Could you also pull them in? Yeah, some kind of things. Well, other things that we practice is like person stabbing an officer. Okay, like say you got your vest on, there's soft spots on the vest, so we go for armpits. Here, and here. Now the idea is, even if you don't have a vest, sometimes the knife gets stuck or whatever. You got these inmate manufactured weapons, sometimes they ain't strong or durable as we expect them to be. So what we do is, any knife, go straight in. When you go straight in, pull straight out, go straight in, push them off balance, hit them again, straight out, hitting soft target, like that. So, like that.
In the organization that you come from, the BGF, they have a reputation for studying anatomy.
Yes.
What areas on the body are you looking to strike if you're going to strike an officer?
Well, you have your bladder, you have your diaphragm, you have your lungs, you have your heart, you have up here some arterial arteries up here behind your clavicle, and then you have your jugular, then you have your temples, then you have the back of it's part of your brain stem and the back of the head. Those would be places I would put a knife.
And those are things that you studied in the cell. You got anatomy books, looked at them, practice on them.
Drew a picture on the wall and practice.
For hours at a time.
Until I got it right.
If you're not going to follow the rules that are set by the academy and what they teach you in the academy, you could pay for it with your life. I mean, here's an example. When I was up here in Oregon, I did something down in Southern California and I had to go on a run. So I came up here to Oregon and I started committing robberies and burglaries. These people have so many guns in their houses up here that it's just crazy. I had an apartment that was full of semi-automatic rifles, handguns. It was just full of them. Well, me and my girlfriend at the time, we had a little dispute and somebody called the police. So automatically I assumed that the police were showing up because I had been doing these robberies and these burglaries. So when I went to the door, I put a .357 in my pants and pulled my shirt over, and it was loaded. So they pull me out to the front yard, and they're talking to me, and the whole time that I'm talking to them, I got this gun right in my waistband, and I'm thinking, you know what? I could just take these dudes out right now. There were a couple of older guys, they were kind of like hillbillies, and they were paying no attention to what was going on. Then they started asking me questions about me having a dispute with my girlfriend. I realized that they weren't there to bust me for the burglaries or anything like that, so I kind of let my guard down. They thought I had been hitting on my old lady because her sister had called the police because we were wrestling, and it was nothing. So I cleared it up, and I was getting ready to go when a detective shows up. They put me in cuffs, and they take me down to the station. They didn't search me. I was sitting down at the station, cuffed up, sitting in a chair for about 4 hours. Finally, once I figured out that they were going to end up letting me go, I told one of the cops, hey man, why don't you just go ahead and grab this right here? And he lifted up my shirt, and I had the gun right there. I mean, It was totally up to me what I did with that gun. I chose not to use it. But when they saw, I mean, I could see the expression in their face. It was just, they were sick. I carried a knife in my ass for 6 months so that the first chance I got, I could stab somebody. Okay? That's how serious I took what I was doing.
And even if that's just what he's saying is a 2% factor, in reality, this might be the 2% factor you'll be confronted with.
When we stab somebody in here, we're doing it with somebody pointing a rifle at us. You know, it's every time I've stabbed somebody in prison, it's been right under a gun tower with a guy holding a Mini 14. Knowing damn well when I went to go stab the guy that dude up there was going to try to shoot me. You know, it's like you become, and once you start dealing with those situations, dealing with a cop, I mean, the difference between us and your average criminal is they don't have that edge. They don't have the ability to pull the trigger. They don't have the ability to act aggressively on a spur of the moment. Just the thought arrives and you act on it.
We don't teach these guys in here to take you for granted as police officers.
No, definitely not.
And your academy shouldn't be teaching them to take us for granted because, like he's saying, you know, these people are coming out here, they're playing for keeps, just like you're playing for keeps so you can go home every night.
You know, one of the main things, like I said, we're involved in bank robberies and so forth. Well, we'll do a 30, 60-day observation out there on a certain area that we want to hit. And now with the cops, every so often they'll pass by a certain bank. You know what I'm saying? And we know this because of past experiences. So we keep track, okay, when the cops come around, okay, where they go to have their lunch break. Because usually you guys have a certain place where you guys go eat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's where they're at. You know what I mean? Okay, they should be coming by any moment. So we keep track of that as well. So that whenever the bank robbery has to go down, okay, this is how much time we have before they come cruising by. You know what I'm saying? So we keep track of all that. You know, observation is one of our main keys.
One time we had an officer that was harassing some apartment complexes that I took care of business in when I was involved in selling drugs and stuff. And he was like real aggressive, you know, the kind of dude, hands-on, beat you up kind of dude. And what we call an oppressive pig, you know. But so what winds up happening, he kept on coming in, checking this one vacant apartment. That was his excuse to come fuck with everybody, come mess with everybody. So one day, me and a friend of mine, we went inside the apartment and waited for him to come because we knew he would come. And I had a fully automatic, a MAC-10, and my friend had a Tech-9. And the idea was, being that he had a partner, was he's gonna come check the door. My friend busts on him through the door, and I would shoot at his partner through the window because his design of the apartment is the way it was. We'd have had him pinned down. Just so happens they were called to another call or something. He didn't come down the terrace, and he went on about his business. He made it. He escaped. But that's what I was saying. We knew by his routine he would use that to come fuck with somebody, and we waited for him.
But also studying the way that they operate in tactical moves. When they do a prison hit, they rehearse it. You know, there's often a person that's a lookout. There's a person who's going to actually make the hit. There's a backup unit. There's a person who creates a diversion. There's people who deliver the weapons. There's people who take the weapons out of view. There's an armor, you know, and tacticians who plan these moves. So the more familiar you are with that kind of a situation, the more it's going to help you. Not just in the environment of custody, but when you go to the street. A 211 team is made up just like a prison hit team.
And a joint force, task force of this county, that county, this city, CDC, FBI, goes out to take these gang members down in these neighborhoods, and when they file their reports, one guy might not black it out. This guy might put this guy puts that guy puts this. So now all these gang members in the shoe have all the identities of your undercover narc cars, detective cars, your beeper numbers, your names, what car you drove at the time of the incident. Because one faction don't know what the other faction is doing.